The night she offered herself. The city lights flickered across the wet streets of Nova Prime, casting long, broken shadows on the walls of the crowded market. Alien merchants shouted over one another, selling strange foods and glowing fabrics. In a small alley hidden from the main street, she waited, her blue skin shimmering under the neon signs. Her silver hair fell over her shoulders, catching the light in tiny sparks. She was young, beautiful, and desperate, her eyes scanning every passerby, hoping someone would see her value beyond her appearance. She had no choice tonight. The alien guilds had rejected her, calling her useless, too fragile, and a burden. Her stomach twisted with fear, not just for herself but for the life growing inside her, a secret she had to hide at all costs. She had nowhere to go, no family, no allies, only the cold streets and the city's harsh judgment. Then he appeared. A human man, tall and confident, dressed in simple clothes but moving with authority. He walked past the street vendors, his eyes scanning the crowd with intelligence and curiosity. Her heart raced. She had heard of humans before. Whispers in the market said they were unpredictable, powerful, and dangerous. But tonight she had to take the risk. She had no other choice. She stepped forward, her voice barely above a whisper. "Please, I need a place for one night," she said, her words trembling. "I can pay anything." The human stopped, turning to look at her, his gaze piercing, calm, yet full of curiosity. He studied her carefully, noticing the small scar on her wrist, the trembling of her hands, the fear and hope mixed in her eyes. For a moment, the world seemed to pause, the market noises fading into silence. "You want me to take you in?" he asked slowly, his voice deep and measured. "Yes," she breathed. "Just for tonight. I have no one else." He didn't answer. Immediately, only studied her, his eyes searching for truth, for sincerity. Finally, he nodded, a faint smile touching his lips. "Follow me," he said, turning into a narrow side street. Her heart pounded in her chest as she hurried after him. She didn't know if she was making a mistake, but her desperation outweighed fear. The building he led her into was quiet, small, but surprisingly warm. The lights were soft, giving the room a gentle glow. He gestured for her to sit, and she obeyed, careful not to move too fast. He brought her water, watching her closely, but with no sign of judgment. She sipped, feeling her nerves ease slightly, but the tension remained. This human. He was unlike anyone she had met, calm, careful, and strangely kind. Then he spoke, almost casually, but his words sent a shiver down her spine. "You are not like the others," he said. "You have something different." She looked at him, unsure how to respond, her heart skipping a beat. Different? Was it the baby, her desperation, or something deeper? Before she could answer, he leaned closer, his eyes locking on hers. "Stay with me tonight. And maybe longer," he whispered. Her breath caught in her throat. The world outside faded. For the first time she felt safe. But in the shadowed corners of the city, unseen eyes were watching, alien enforcers, guild members, and those who would see her punished. They did not know about this meeting, but soon they would, and her life, and the life growing inside her, would never be the same again. The night had begun, and nothing would ever be the same. The first rays of the twin suns barely touched the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and violet. Inside the small apartment, she sat on the edge of the bed, hands folded tightly in her lap, staring at the human who moved around the room with calm precision. He did not speak much, only giving short, deliberate instructions as he prepared simple food. Every movement seemed purposeful, controlled, almost familiar. She watched him silently, unsure if she should trust him completely. Trust was a dangerous thing in a city where betrayal hid in every corner. "You need to eat," he finally said, handing her a plate of steaming food. She took it, her hands trembling slightly, not from hunger, but from nerves. You could have walked away," she whispered, her voice fragile. "Why didn't you?" He paused, setting the plate down, and looked at her directly, his eyes calm, serious. "Because no one should be left alone in this city, especially someone like you," he said. The words were simple, but they carried weight, heavier than the walls of the apartment. She swallowed, unsure what to say, feeling a strange warmth spread through her chest. Outside, the streets were waking, the market beginning to hum with life. But her mind kept returning to the shadows she had glimpsed the night before, those watching eyes, hidden in dark corners, observing, waiting. She had thought the human would keep her safe, but could he truly? The city was alive with danger, and even humans were not free from its reach. He noticed her worry, and his gaze softened. "They will come," he said quietly. But not tonight. Not tonight? She asked, confused and afraid. He nodded. Tonight, you are under my protection. After that, we will see. His words offered a fragile hope, a temporary shield against the unknown. She nodded slowly, unsure how to respond, her heart heavy with uncertainty. And the door chimed, a soft, almost mechanical sound. Her head snapped up, and the human's hand went to a small device on the wall. Stay here, he commanded, his voice low but firm. She obeyed, heart pounding. As he opened the door just a crack, a figure slipped in, moving quickly and silently. It was a courier, alien and small, with glowing green eyes. He handed a small data pad to the human without a word, then disappeared as quickly as he had come. The human studied the pad, his brow furrowing slightly. She knows about you, he muttered, almost to himself. She leaned forward, heart racing. Who knows? He shook his head. Not yet, but someone has been watching you for a long time. Her stomach twisted with fear, the life inside her kicking, almost as if it sensed the danger. You mean the guilds? She whispered, dread filling her voice. He nodded. They will not stop until they have control. Until they have you. She felt a cold shiver, her hands tightening on her knees. For the first time she realized how deep the danger went, how high the stakes were. The human looked at her, his eyes steady, unwavering. You are stronger than you think, he said, and tonight you will see just how far that strength can go. She met his gaze, hope and fear fighting inside her. The city outside hummed with life, unaware of the storm gathering in the shadows, and she knew, with chilling certainty, that nothing would ever be the same. The night ahead would test her, push her to the limits, and the human, he would be by her side, whether she trusted him fully or not. The first warning had come, and the city was holding its breath, waiting for what would happen next. The hidden labyrinth. The streets of Nova Prime had grown darker as the twin suns sank below the horizon, leaving only the neon glow of the market signs to light the alleys. She followed the human closely, her footsteps careful, almost silent, as they moved through winding streets and narrow passages she had never seen before. Her heart raced, each shadow seeming to reach out for her. The life inside her kicked, reminding her of the stakes. If she failed, if they caught her, it would not just be her life. They would take everything. The human did not speak much, only giving small gestures and nods to guide her. He moved with purpose, as if he had memorized every corner of this part of the city. Finally, he stopped at a seemingly ordinary door, hidden in the side of a building that looked abandoned. He checked the lock, pressed a hidden panel, and the door slid open silently, revealing a spiral staircase that led downward. This way, he whispered, his eyes scanning the shadows above. She followed, her mind spinning with questions. What was this place? Why was it hidden? And why was he risking so much for her? The stairs ended in a large chamber, walls covered with glowing panels and strange alien symbols. The air hummed with energy, warm and alive. She gasped softly, stepping inside. This is incredible, she whispered, her voice trembling. He gave a small smile. It is safe here, for now. Her eyes wandered, taking in the machines, the glowing screens, and the soft hum of alien technology. It was unlike anything she had ever seen. She realized that this human, he was not just a simple man, he was something far more than she had imagined. He turned to her, serious again. They will come, he said, and when they do, we need to be ready. She nodded, fear rising in her chest. How? What can we do? She asked, her voice almost a whisper. He moved to a panel and pressed a series of buttons, revealing holographic maps of the city. They think they know where you are, but they don't, he said, tracing paths through the streets. We can stay ahead, if we are smart. She leaned closer, fascinated and terrified at the same time. The city outside had become a maze of dangers, and this hidden labyrinth might be the only place that could protect her. Hours passed in tense silence as he worked, checking systems, monitoring screens, and preparing defenses. She watched him, a mixture of fear and admiration growing inside her. He was careful, patient, and precise, qualities rare in a world filled with greed and violence. She realized she was learning from him, silently absorbing his strength, his calm in the face of danger. And for the first time, she felt a glimmer of hope. Then, a sudden alert sounded, sharp and urgent. The screens flashed red, showing movement in the alley outside. Her heart stopped, the baby inside her kicking wildly as if warning her. They found us, he said calmly, but his eyes hardened, readying for what was coming. She backed away slightly, fear clawing at her. He placed a hand gently on her shoulder, steadying her. Stay calm, he said. They will not take you tonight. Her breath trembled, but she nodded, trusting him. The shadows outside shifted, figures moving closer, and the hidden labyrinth held its breath. The first real test was about to begin, and she realized that nothing, not the city, not the guilds, not even the life. The first strike. The hidden labyrinth hummed with quiet energy, every panel and screen alive with soft lights. Outside, the city's night had grown colder, the alleys darker, as if the shadows themselves were waiting. She stood behind the human, her heart pounding, palms sweaty. The life inside her shifted restlessly, sensing the tension, the fear, the danger closing in. She tried to steady her breathing, but every sound from above made her flinch. Suddenly the door at the top of the spiral staircase rattled violently. Figures tried to force it open, the sounds echoing through the labyrinth. The human moved swiftly, pressing buttons, activating energy shields, and securing the room. "This way," he said calmly, guiding her to a smaller chamber hidden behind a sliding wall. She followed, silently marveling at his composure. Even now, in the face of immediate danger, he did not panic. She wondered, how could one human be so strong, so precise, when the city outside was chaos itself? The first attack came not from the door, but from the ventilation shafts. Small alien drones with glowing red eyes slipped through, their mechanical claws ready to strike. She gasped and instinctively stepped back. The human raised his hand, activating a shield that pulsed with soft blue light. The drone struck it and sparked, then fell to the floor, deactivated. Her eyes widened. How did you? He interrupted. No time to explain now, his voice firm, unwavering. They will keep coming. Fear gripped her, but she nodded, trusting him completely. There was no other choice, and the night was far from over. He moved with deadly precision, each action calculated, each defense perfect. She realized she had never seen anyone like him before, a human who could stand against so many dangers, so much chaos, and remain unshaken. Her admiration grew, mixed with a strange warmth she could not name. She wanted to ask him everything, about his strength, his calm, his life, but the sound of approaching footsteps, echoing down the stairs, reminded her it was not safe. Then the holographic maps flickered, showing new movements outside. More guild enforcers, armed with strange energy weapons, were heading toward the building. "They know the labyrinth exists," he muttered, scanning the screens. "We need to move fast." He guided her to another hidden corridor, this one narrow and twisting, designed to confuse anyone who tried to follow. She stumbled slightly, but he caught her, steadying her, his hands firm and reassuring. Her heart raced, not just with fear, but with something else, something she could not name. Even in the midst of danger, she felt a strange connection forming between them. Outside, the sounds of combat began, distant at first, then closer. Blaster shots echoed, metallic crashes resounded through the building. The human did not hesitate, moving her behind protective walls, activating defensive mechanisms. She watched him fight without striking a single blow, using only his mind, his knowledge, and the labyrinth itself as weapons. Her jaw tightened, awe filling her. She realized in that moment that survival was not just about strength or weapons, it was about intelligence, courage, and the willingness to protect those who could not protect themselves. As the first strike raged outside, she pressed against the wall. The baby inside her stirred, as if sensing the human's determination. For the first time, she felt hope, mixed with fear. This night would not break her, she decided, and with him by her side, she might just survive. But the shadows were far from gone, and the labyrinth held more secrets than she could imagine. The first strike had begun, and it would not be the last. The heart of the storm, the labyrinth trembled as the echoes of the first strike faded. Outside, the city seemed alive with menace, shadows crawling along the walls like dark rivers. She pressed herself against the wall, every nerve alert, her hands trembling slightly. The life inside her stirred, uneasy, as if warning her that the danger was far from over. The human moved beside her, calm and silent, scanning the labyrinth's many chambers. He checked the glowing panels, adjusting shields, rerouting energy, preparing for the next wave. "You need to stay close," he said quietly, his voice low but firm. She nodded, swallowing hard, unsure if she could keep her fear from showing, but she trusted him, more than she had ever trusted anyone before. And that trust gave her courage, though it was fragile, like a candle in the wind. Suddenly, the sound of shattering glass echoed from above. Figures were entering through the upper windows, agile and deadly. The human raised a hand, activating a series of barriers that glowed with bright blue light. The intruders struck, weapons clashing against shields, sparks flying. She watched, breath caught as he moved with incredible precision, guiding her behind cover. Every movement calculated, every decision decisive. She realized that survival here was not luck. It was skill, intelligence, and instinct. And he had all three in abundance. A small alarm sounded, drawing their attention to another entrance. Another breach, he muttered, eyes narrowing. She leaned closer, heart racing. We can't hold them all. He shook his head. We can, he said, voice steady, but we need to fight smart. Her stomach twisted, fear clawing at her. She had never seen such confidence, such calm in the face of overwhelming danger, and somehow that calm made her feel safe. Even as the labyrinth shook around them, the intruders moved deeper into the labyrinth, unaware of the hidden traps. The human activated mechanisms that closed passages, redirected energy, and separated their enemies. She watched in awe, feeling a strange mix of fear and fascination. It was like watching a storm controlled by a single hand. Every strike, every move, perfectly timed. And in the center of it, the human remained calm, unshaken. She realized that he was not just protecting her. He was teaching her, showing her how to survive, how to fight, how to endure. Suddenly, one intruder broke through the final barrier, eyes glowing, weapon raised. She froze, fear gripping her. The human moved in front of her, his hand flashing, a small energy pulse stopping the enemy just inches away. "You are safe," he said firmly, eyes locked on the intruder. She felt a warmth spread through her chest, relief washing over her. Even as danger still surrounded them, she knew that for the first time she was not alone. He was there, unwavering, a shield against the shadows, and something else began to stir inside her. Something new, something powerful. The labyrinth hummed, alive with energy, as the remaining intruders retreated. The human checked the systems, making sure no one had followed. She leaned against the wall, breathing hard, the baby inside her kicking wildly. For the first time, she felt hope, real and strong. They had survived the first storm, but she knew the night was far from over, and the city outside waited, patient and merciless. He turned to her, his eyes softening for the first time. "You did well," he said quietly, almost gently. She looked at him, unsure what to say, heart still racing. I couldn't have done it without you," she whispered. He nodded, a small, almost hidden smile appearing. "You are stronger than you think," he said, "and tomorrow you will see just how strong." The night was still young, the storm was not over, but for the first time, she believed they could survive it together. Secrets revealed. The labyrinth had fallen silent, but the tension hung heavy in the air. She sat on a metallic bench, breathing heavily, her hands resting on her stomach, feeling the life inside her move. The human stood near a glowing panel, watching the shadows on the walls. He looked calm, but she sensed the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. Everything about him radiated control, focus, and something deeper she could not yet name. "Why are they after me?" she asked softly, breaking the silence. He turned, eyes meeting hers, serious and unyielding. "They want to control what you carry," he said, voice low. "They know it's special, powerful." She froze, fear rising. "Powerful? Me? My baby?" He nodded. "Yes, and it is why you cannot be left alone, why you cannot be taken." Her stomach twisted, a mix of fear and confusion. She had never imagined that her life, and the life inside her, could be so important, so dangerous. He stepped closer, lowering his voice even more. "There is more you need to know, and I need to trust you with it." She nodded, her pulse racing, feeling both excitement and dread. He moved to a small console, pressing buttons that revealed holographic images, maps of distant stars, glowing symbols, and strange energy readings filled the air. "These," he explained, pointing to the screens, "are the markers of a lost alien technology, the kind that can shift the balance of power across the galaxy." Her eyes widened, unable to take it all in. "And you, and your child, are connected to it," he continued, voice steady. "You carry something that even the Council fears." She felt her knees weaken, terror and awe mixing in her chest. How is this possible?" she whispered, barely believing her own words. He gave her a faint smile. "Some things are bigger than we can understand, and some truths only reveal themselves when the time is right." The labyrinth hummed, energy flowing through the walls, echoing like a heartbeat. She realized she had been hiding in the wrong kind of safety before. Now, every moment mattered. Every decision could change everything. He reached out, taking her hand gently, and she felt warmth spreading through her, a strength she had never known. "You are not alone," he said softly. "I will protect you, no matter what comes." Her chest tightened, emotions flooding her. She had trusted him before, but now, knowing the stakes, that trust became something deeper, stronger, unspoken, yet undeniable. Suddenly, a warning alarm blared, sharp and urgent. The holographic screens flickered, showing new movement outside, far more organized than before. "They're regrouping," he muttered, eyes narrowing. "They will strike again. Stronger, faster." Fear clawed at her, but she steadied herself, drawing courage from his presence. He guided her to a new chamber, hidden beneath layers of security, a place even safer than before. As they moved, she felt a strange determination growing inside her. She would not be a victim, not tonight, not ever. She would fight, she would survive, and she would protect the life she carried. He paused for a moment, looking at her, eyes softening. "You are stronger than you think, and this storm, it is only the beginning." She nodded, feeling something unspoken pass between them, a bond forged in fear, danger, and hope. The labyrinth held them, alive with energy, secrets, and promise. And outside, the galaxy waited, unaware that one human and one alien woman were about to change everything. The night was far from over, and the true challenge was only just beginning. The Galactic Council had never known such fear. Leaders paced, whispered, argued, and glared at one another. The first human moves had shattered centuries of confidence. Even the oldest, most respected counselors looked pale and unsure. Panic had taken root, and with panic came division. Some leaders insisted on immediate action. "We must strike before they grow stronger," they demanded, claws tapping, voices sharp. "We cannot wait, or humanity will control the galaxy." Others argued for caution. "We do not yet understand them," they said. "Strike too soon, and we risk awakening something beyond our control." Factions formed quickly. The council, once united, now trembled under the weight of fear. Meetings grew heated, words sharper than weapons, alliances shifting in minutes. One faction proposed isolating human colonies, blockading star systems, cutting off trade routes. Yet another faction refused, saying, "Even isolation will fail. Humans adapt, learn, and overcome. Every obstacle makes them stronger." Outside the council, human fleets moved quietly, perfectly coordinated, silently watching alien systems. Every small action human colonies took seemed ordinary, yet it strengthened their position. Surveyors reported that humans were not just surviving, they were thriving. They repaired starships faster than expected. They created energy grids that made blockades useless. Every calculation, every maneuver, every decision revealed intelligence the council could not match. In the chamber, a young counselor finally spoke, voice trembling. "We cannot even predict their moves. Every model we have fails. Every plan crumbles. They are different." The historian nodded, showing records of human ingenuity. "They do not follow patterns. They learn from every encounter. They turn danger into advantage. Every challenge makes them stronger. Every mistake teaches them. Panic sprea." Further, whispers of fear reaching every corner of the chamber. Leaders who had once laughed at humans now shivered in silence. The council realized that some factions might take rash action and others might try diplomacy. But humans were ready for both. Their reputation had already spread. Even in distant systems, alien races began to report unusual human behavior, clever tactics, and unmatched resilience. The council could feel the weight of a species they had ignored for centuries. And within the chamber, arguments turned into threats, threats turned into distrust, and distrust turned into a fragile, tense standoff. Every leader feared that a single mistake could ignite a galaxy-wide disaster. Humans, meanwhile, moved without arrogance, without haste, without unnecessary force. They were patient, disciplined, and united. Every colony, every fleet, every strategist acted as one mind, perfectly coordinated and prepared. The council, split into factions, realized they could no longer act as one. They were fractured, divided, and vulnerable. And humans, the species they had mocked, the species they had underestimated, had become a force beyond their comprehension. The true name of humanity, Earth, echoed through the chamber, a reminder of the unknown power that had quietly grown, waiting, watching, ready to act. And as the leaders faced the undeniable truth, they knew one thing. The council would never be the same. The galaxy would never be the same. And humans were the reason. Shadows beyond the stars. The labyrinth was quiet now, almost peaceful, but the calm felt fragile. She rested against the human, feeling the warmth of his body and the steady pulse of his heart. The life inside her kicked again, stronger this time, as if aware that danger had passed, but only for the moment. Outside, the city glimmered under the starlight, towers and spires reflecting the glow of distant nebulae. She had survived the night, but she knew the universe never truly rested. He walked to a console, scanning distant signals, eyes narrowing as he read patterns invisible to her. "Something isn't right," he muttered, fingers flying across the panels. She rose, worry threading through her. "What is it?" He shook his head slowly. "The attackers we faced. They were only scouts. Probes sent ahead." Her stomach sank, fear rising again. "You mean more are coming?" she whispered, clutching his arm, the baby stirring as if sensing her fear. He nodded. "Yes, and this time they'll bring everything they have." Her knees weakened, but she forced herself to stay upright. She had survived before. She could survive again, especially with him by her side. The human turned to her, his gaze softening, yet unyielding. "We cannot hide forever," he said, voice low but steady. She swallowed hard. "Then, what do we do?" He took her hand, squeezing it gently. "We prepare. We fight. But we also survive. And we protect what matters." She nodded, feeling a strange mix of fear and determination. For the first time, she understood that survival was not just escaping danger. It was knowing when to act, when to trust, and when to stand your ground. They moved through the hidden passages, checking barriers, reinforcing shields, and securing the chambers. She noticed how naturally he commanded the labyrinth, how every mechanism seemed to respond to him. It wasn't just power. It was connected. Understanding, and something almost human. In the truest sense, she felt a surge of gratitude, admiration, and something deeper. A bond that had grown in the fires of danger now felt unbreakable, and in the quiet moments she realized she trusted him not only with her life, but with her heart. A sudden beep interrupted her thoughts. A soft signal on the console. The human's eyes widened slightly, a rare flicker of concern passing over his calm face. "Message from the council," he muttered, reading quickly. Her curiosity surged. "What does it say?" He hesitated, then handed her the small hollow screen. The words glowed in alien script, a warning, urgent and clear. "The balance has shifted. One human and one alien child could change everything. Prepare for interference." Her heart raced, the weight of responsibility pressing on her chest. She looked at him, eyes wide. They know about the baby?" He nodded, grim. "Yes. And now the galaxy will come for us, sooner or later." Fear and awe collided within her, but she felt a spark of resolve. If they had survived the labyrinth, if they had faced death together, they could face the galaxy. He placed a hand on her stomach, soft but firm. "No matter what comes, we will stay together, always." Her chest tightened, tears forming, and for the first time she felt the true meaning of courage, not the absence of fear, but standing tall despite it. The labyrinth hummed around them, alive with energy, secrets, and promise. Outside, the stars glittered, unaware of the storm approaching, and inside, two hearts and one growing life prepared to face whatever the universe dared to throw at them. The night was far from over. The galaxy had taken notice, and the real challenge was only just beginning. The council moves. The stars outside the labyrinth were cold and distant, glittering like silent witnesses. She sat beside the human, watching him as he worked over the glowing panels, each light reflecting in his determined eyes. The warning from the council burned in her mind, a weight heavier than any danger they had faced. Her hand rested on her stomach, feeling the baby move, a gentle reminder of why they could not fail. "We are not alone," he said quietly, without looking up, voice steady but heavy. She looked at him, confusion and fear mingling. "What do you mean?" "They know about us," he explained. "The council, the galaxy. And they are sending envoys, inspectors, enforcers. They will try to control, to take, to manipulate." Her heart clenched, fear rising like a tide, but she forced herself to stay calm. If they had survived the labyrinth, they could survive this too. Suddenly, a bright pulse of light flashed across the screens, warning alarms blaring. He moved quickly, fingers flying over the controls, rerouting power, sealing doors, activating hidden defense mechanisms. She watched him, awe and worry gripping her chest. "They're coming faster than I expected," he muttered, eyes sharp and calculating. Her pulse raced. "Faster? Than what?" "Than the last scouts. This is a full mission. They will arrive within hours," he replied, voice tense but controlled. She swallowed hard, fear biting at her courage. The baby stirred again, small kicks echoing through her body like a heartbeat of defiance. She placed her hand on her stomach, whispering softly, "We will protect you." Outside the labyrinth, the first signs of the Council's envoys appeared, sleek ships gliding silently through space, sensors glowing, weapons hidden but deadly. The human moved to a central console, eyes scanning the fleet, calculating angles, distances, and weaknesses. "You're amazing," she said quietly, admiration in her voice. He glanced at her, a faint smile breaking through the tension. "We are amazing, together." Her heart fluttered, warmth spreading even as danger approached. She realized something in that moment. She no longer feared the galaxy, because she had found strength in him, in them, in the bond they shared. The ship slowed near the labyrinth, energy shields activating as automated defenses hummed to life. She watched, breath held, as one of the Council's envoys tried to penetrate their barriers, only to be repelled by pulsing energy waves. "They will test us," he said, voice low. "They will probe, push, try to intimidate, but we cannot give them control." Her mind raced, thinking of the baby, of the life they were protecting, of all they had endured together. "I will fight," she said firmly, determination echoing in her tone. He turned to her, eyes softening. "I know you will, and I will be beside you, always." Her chest tightened, emotion swelling, courage growing. For the first time, she felt ready not just to survive, but to stand, to challenge, to change the course of the galaxy itself. The labyrinth hummed with energy, alive, anticipating the coming confrontation. Outside, the Council's fleet waited, calculating, cold, formidable. Inside, two humans, one carrying new life, prepared for what the galaxy thought impossible. They were small, fragile, yet unstoppable in their courage, in their unity, in their bond. And as the first ship tested the labyrinth's shields, she felt a surge of certainty. No matter what the galaxy sent, no matter how many envoys arrived, they would endure, they would survive, and together, they would remain unbroken. The night had brought them together. The galaxy would test them, and the true battle, one of courage, trust, and destiny, was about to begin. The galaxy stood still. The labyrinth glowed with energy, shields humming, corridors alive with anticipation. She clutched his hand, the baby stirring gently inside her, sensing the tension. Outside, the Council's fleet loomed, sleek ships like dark predators against the starlight. The first pulse of energy from the enemy fleet struck their outer defenses, sending vibrations through the labyrinth. He steadied her, voice calm. "Stay close, trust me." She nodded, heart racing, but a strange sense of calm filled her. This was the moment everything would change. He moved like lightning, rerouting power, activating traps, sealing entrances. The labyrinth itself seemed to obey him, every panel, every door, every hidden mechanism responding with perfect precision. She watched, amazed and fearful, as he became more than human in that instant. A protector, a strategist, a force that could challenge the galaxy itself. Yet his eyes softened when they met hers, grounding her, reminding her of love, of life, of hope. "We will survive this," he whispered, almost as a promise to the stars themselves. The Council's envoys advanced, testing shields, probing weaknesses, their energy beams slicing through space. She held her breath, watching as one ship drew dangerously close. Then he acted. A pulse of light, a wave of energy, and the intruder was repelled, thrown back into the void. "Again," he commanded, and she helped, using her knowledge of the labyrinth, activating barriers, diverting power. Together, they moved like a single being, instinctive, unbreakable, unstoppable. The baby kicked, almost as if joining in the battle, reminding them of what they were fighting for. Hours passed, the fleet relentless, but the labyrinth held, defenses growing stronger. Then, a sudden shift, a massive energy surge, different from anything they had seen. He turned to her, eyes wide, voice tense. "They're trying something new, something dangerous." She looked at the screens, fear gripping her chest. The Council's flagship approached, massive, powerful, shields glowing bright, weapons ready to annihilate. "No," she whispered, dread flooding her. He took a deep breath, hand on her stomach. "It's time," he said, determination shining. Together, they would face the impossible. The flagship fired, energy streams slicing through space, but the labyrinth pulsed, shields flaring, absorbing the attack. He moved with speed and precision, sending waves of energy back, disabling their systems one by one. She assisted, heart pounding, courage rising. Then, he reached the command core of the labyrinth, hands flying across the controls. With a final pulse, the flagship's energy flickered, then shut down, powerless, floating like a husk in space. Silence fell across the battlefield, the Council's fleet frozen, unable to believe what had just happened. They had been defeated by two humans, one carrying new life in a hidden labyrinth. She sank to the floor, tears streaming, relief and awe washing over her. He knelt beside her, holding her close, whispering, "We did it. We survived. We won." She rested her head against him, feeling the baby move again, strong and alive. Outside, the stars seemed brighter, the galaxy watching, stunned and silent. The humans had shown what courage, love, and unity could do, and in that moment, she knew they would never be alone again. The Council could try, the galaxy could resist, but nothing could break the bond between them. He kissed her forehead, soft, gentle, full of promise. "Stay with me, forever," he whispered. She smiled through tears. "Always," she replied, and together they looked out at the galaxy, victorious, alive and unbroken. The night had tested them, the stars had trembled, but they had endured, and their story would echo. Across the cosmos, the labyrinth hummed softly, a heartbeat in the universe, and the future, uncertain yet full of hope, began here, with them, together, forever.